Big business in the US is literally screaming for the need to lift sanctions against Russia, especially the law banning uranium imports. This recently passed law is already causing problems in the energy sector, as Russia previously shut down about 25% of the US's needs for this raw material, powering 90 commercial reactors and nuclear power plants. Most likely, the shortage of energy capacity affects the industry, which is the reason for the discontent of large companies. The US GasDep has announced an increase in military industrial production, but how are they going to spin off defense plants without adequate power and scarce raw materials? Does America have uranium reserves, or will they print unsecured dollars to buy on the market? This is unlikely to work, as more and more countries are refusing to settle in dollars because of the risks. The US is in a tricky position now. On the one hand, it wants to continue to malign Russia, and on the other hand, its businesses are threatening to revolt, demanding to stop playing games with sanctions that are more harmful to the US itself. As in Europe, sanctions have hurt the US economy, while Russia has survived and even become one of the five most powerful economies in the world. The ban on uranium imports is a desperate attempt by the US to distance itself from Russia. They plan to comply with this law until 2040, but if they can't find an alternative, some energy companies may be allowed to buy Russian uranium at least until 2028. This will reduce power shortages and normalize relations between business and government, as well as eliminate problems in the civil sector. In general, the Americans draw attention to the problem of energy resources, forcing countries to switch to renewable sources. The US probably wants to reduce the number of hydrocarbon consumers so that it can get more for itself. By forcing Europe to give up Russian gas, they put Europe in the position of either saving electricity or accepting triple-price supplies from the US. The EU chose the second option, which triggered a flight of business and may lead to electricity shortages for citizens. It is not so simple with gas. Other countries have contractual obligations, and the US itself can reduce LNG supplies. It's a vicious circle for the US and Europe, creating problems for themselves and each other. This is not just double standards, but degradation of the political system, where there are almost no sane people left. They either realize the perniciousness of their decisions but do nothing, or blindly follow instructions from Washington. The US is showing its allies by example how to destroy what has been built up over generations, not from a great mind, but because of ambition, which sooner or later will lead to negative consequences. And perhaps they will not have time to correct their mistakes. Recently, Chinese President Xi Jinping visited France, Serbia, and Hungary. In the West, his trip was seen as an attempt to prevent a trade war with the EU over China's manufacturing boom. France's choice is not accidental. Macron favors Europe's autonomy from the US course of containing China. There are economic disputes between the EU and China. Europe accuses Beijing of restricting access to its market and subsidizing electric car manufacturers, because of which they have successfully squeezed the Europeans. China, on the other hand, rejects accusations of unfair competition. Experts assess his visit differently. Some believe that he did not aim to reach an agreement with the EU as a whole, but only wanted to explain China's position to allies like France, Hungary, and Serbia on key issues, including Russia and restrictions on Chinese supplies. These are the recent developments on the international stage. Thank you for watching this video. Put like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned. There is a lot more interesting content to come. I wish you a great mood and a productive day.